Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always a fun drive. Thank you so much for watching. You can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com and all the social media sites. You can find us there as well. Also wanted to mention my email address. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. Appreciate your sending your emails. Quite a few emails about memory loss. You know, a lot of us suffer from it. Now, you get older, you younger folks have it there as well. So sometimes it just has something to do with diet and maybe lack of exercise. So let's just see if we can dig into this article right here. And it's called naturaleffects.com. I'm all into the natural way of doing everything. You all know that. So let's just see what this article has to say about that. One suggestion is a balanced diet. Now, everybody knows me. I like having the garden. I love eating natural. I like a burger and fries every once in a while, too. You know, we can't live off of just lettuce, so we do have to have a good balanced diet. So let's just see what the author has to say about this. He says, for patients who are dealing with memory loss, a healthy and balanced diet is a solid start to improve your cognitive function and slow down the progression of maybe some kind of a disease, such as dementia. Okay, the improvement most likely results from improving the blood flow and reducing oxidative stress in the brain via diet changes. Now, one example of a healthy diet for the brain is the MIND diet. I really dig this. Okay, it emphasizes green leafy vegetables, berries, nuts, whole grains, fish, and poultry while avoiding red meat, dairy products, sweets, and fried food. Studies have shown that this diet is associated with a slower decline in cognitive equivalent to being 7.5 years younger. The Mediterranean diet and the dietary approaches to stop hypertension, it's called the DASH diet, are also good choices for dementia patients, as both encourage consumption of food and vegetables and the avoidance of sugary treats and processed food. This is something Phil and I have promised each other now for almost 5 years, okay? And that's because everybody likes sweets, and I don't see you limit the entire thing unless you're diabetic, and we're not. However, you know, sometimes it's if you have a treat, let's say we love ice cream, okay? And so instead of eating ice cream every night, which is what we have done before, instead of doing it every night, maybe have it as a treat, like on the weekends. And that's a great idea right there. Here's suggestion number 2. That's dietary supplements, and you want to talk to your doctor about those. Just in case there's something that you are already taking, just to make sure that it doesn't coincide with what you're already taking. Now, there's a growing number of herbal remedies. You know me about my herbs, okay? Dietary supplements are promoted as memory enhancers or treatments to delay the progression of maybe possibly dementia. However, if you're caring for a loved one with dementia, it's not always easy to decide which one to choose. So your claims about the beneficial effects of these products are often based on a small number of studies and offer contradictory advice. In addition, the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, does not require the same rigorous process for supplements that are needed for the approval of new prescription drugs. As a result, it can be virtually impossible to determine if and how effective these dietary supplements really are at prevention of dementia or reducing the symptoms. Now, according to the NIH, you can turn these 3 independent organizations, and I'm going to give you these websites, so go ahead and get pencil and paper ready, just to make sure a product was properly manufactured, contains the ingredients listed on the label, and does not contain harmful levels of contaminants. Okay, now here's the first one, consumerlab.com, consumerlab.com. Now, there's another one that you can go to. It's the SF International. You'll have to Google that one in just to get the proper email, proper website. And also U.S. Pharmacopoeia. Let me spell that for you. U.S. and then PHARMACOPEIA, spelled a little differently than it sounds. None of these organizations can guarantee now that the supplement you're taking is safe and effective. All that said, there are a handful of supplements with more evidence than others, and they've listed those along the study results in the following sections, and we're about to get to those in just a minute. That said, they always recommend that patients consult with a neurology or primary care doctor first before starting on any supplements. It's also important to check that these supplements do not interact with prescribed medications. Okay, how about this one? The polyunsaturated fatty acids. Okay, now DHA is a long chain omega 3 polyunsaturated fatty acid involved in numerous mechanisms of the brain. Now, the omega 3 fatty acids are one of the most widely used supplements in the world, with proven results to prevent or delay cardiovascular disease, cancer, depression, and ADHD, among others. Some studies found that people who eat fish, which we do, on a regular basis, I could eat it every day, 3 times a day. Got to think of others, though. Okay, so if you did this on a regular basis, a major source of dietary DHA experienced a slower rate of cognitive decline. The more fish you eat, the better, right? And you're also less likely to have memory loss. Also, DHA supplementation can benefit dementia patients, especially during the early stages of the disease. Now, why am I talking about dementia patients? I'm talking about that. I'm also thinking about preventive care, okay? And a lot of you young folks now, some of you, I'll hold a discussion with you, and you lose your train of thought just like we do. So this is for you as well. Don't think just because you're young, you don't have to do this. Okay, now, but some research says the opposite. Okay, so the varying results studies are likely due to several factors. Omega-3s appear to be more effective in earlier stages. Okay, different doses may have different ways that it helps you or doesn't help. And genetic differences may come into play as well. Now, if you want to try it, then good sources of DHA include dark meat fish, such as your tuna, your salmon, and your mackerel. Now, DHA supplements are usually made from fish oil or algae. Now, some research also suggests that an acid is anti-inflammatory and may be worth consideration. Now, this is the acid, and I'm going to butcher it up and pronounce it, so I'm going to just spell it out for you. It's EICOSAPENTAENOIC. You know I'm going to butcher that word up. So that's what is considered part of consideration as well. Now, I want you to go to this website, naturaleffects.com, naturaleffects.com, and you will see this article in there. Okay, let's see what time it is. Okay, I've still got time. Okay, vitamin D3. Now, vitamin D, which comes from food or via our skin when stimulated by sunlight, is essential for brain development. This is another reason I like to get outside and work as much as I possibly can. I don't get to as much in the wintertime because I don't dig cold weather. And I need to just bundle up more and get out there. But being outside helps. Okay, so if you got kids, or maybe your job requires you to be inside all the time, I'm going to encourage you to get outside. Just get out in that healthy sunshine. It's going to help. Okay. There are a few small studies suggesting that vitamin D3 supplementation may improve some aspects of cognitive function, but it's too early to say really that this vitamin helps disease progression in dementia patients. There hasn't been enough study on that yet. And there needs to be. Supplementation is usually safe, but taking too much may increase your calcium levels in the blood and cause nausea, vomiting, confusion, and heart rhythm abnormalities. It's important to consult with your healthcare provider before taking or starting to take vitamin D3 supplements, especially for patients with overactive kidney and liver disease, diabetes, and hypertension. Now, this is something I'm bad at. Okay, now when I bake chocolate chip cookies, instead of one cup cup of chocolate chips, I always put 2. I mean, I overdo everything. And sometimes when I'm taking a supplement, like even if it's an all-natural supplement, I have to be really careful that I don't overdo it, just like this article just said. It could be you're not taking enough. It could be that you're taking too much. So be really careful. And also, I'll just walk through my herb garden sometimes. I've got herbs setting in plants. They're like in pedestals. And sometimes I'll just walk by and just pick up a basil leaf and just eat it, and I do that. And I have to be careful I don't get too much of a particular one. So what I do is just kind of walk by and get just a little bit of sage, just a little bit of basil, just a little bit of whatever. So be really careful because, you can overdo it in everything. That's why the word balance is in there for people like me that overdo it. Okay, vitamins B6, B9, and B12. When COVID was hitting, a lot of people were talking about the B12. Now, vitamins of the B complex, including B6, B9, and B12, are involved in many functions of the body. They're particularly important to control levels of an acid called homoglycerine. Now, let me spell that for you. I'm pretty sure I butchered that one up too. It's HOMOCYSTEINE. Now, this amino acid is typically high in people over 65, and it is associated with strokes, coronary artery disease, and dementia. So clinical trials of vitamin B supplementation found a small improvement in some cognitive function for patients with mild cognitive impairment, especially those with high levels of homoglycine, but no long-term benefits for patients with severe dementia. That said, this paper suggests adequate B9 and B12 intake correlate with better cognitive performance in immediate and delayed memory recall. Processing speed, sustained attention, and working memory also improved among elders. Now, vitamin B supplements are safe with most people when taken at recommended dosage, but they may interact with some prescription drugs. That's why if you're taking, let's just say vitamin B12, okay, and you are taking something else, the doctor has prescribed something, talk to the doctor first just to see. Sometimes you can just call the office and they'll tell you over the phone. Most of the time they want you to come in and drag you in and get more money out of you. But anyway, I understand that. They want to see you. But you need to talk to your doctor first. Okay. Now, what time is it? Okay. I really need to go into a commercial break, and then we're going to be right back in just a few minutes.
Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring.
but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters, and we're getting to the nitty-gritty of it, cognitive decline, and it can be with anybody, any age. So think about this. If you're a young person right now and you really do clue in on this is really going to help you out in the future. I love the smell of rosemary, and rosemary has been also proven to be a great way if you want to get that memory back. And a lot of young people use rosemary when they're studying for tests. They have a big exam or whatever coming up. A lot of them will go ahead and get the supplement, maybe even a spray of the fragrance, not a fragrance oil. Now, you really do need to get the real plant and not just a fragrance oil. Okay, now let's talk about vitamin E for a bit. We've all heard that for years. Vitamin E is an important antioxidant that protects cells from oxidative stress caused by free radicals. Now, the brain is very susceptible to oxidative stress, which is often considered a major factor contributing to cognitive decline. I know before we moved, there was a bad situation with a relative, not my husband, of course, with a relative. And I'm just telling you, Phil and I were getting pretty forgetful. And it was just due to the stress and, wondering what she's doing now, and it was just a total mess. But we found by moving away from it has really helped. So if you've got a lot of stress in your life from a particular person, maybe a coworker, you might want to talk with your human resources director about that at your work, or maybe the person who owns the business, and just tell them, and I promise you, if you've noticed a cognitive decline, your boss has noticed it too. So instead of getting fired and letting things just get way out of hand, it's best to go ahead and talk to the boss about it. Now, despite this, the evidence to support the use of vitamin E supplementation is contradictory. Some clinical trials found no effect on cognitive function, while others noticed that patients with mild forms of dementia experienced a slower decline in their ability to carry out daily tasks. Now, when it comes to vitamin E, by the way, is really good for your skin as well. It's a healthy diet with plenty of green leafy vegetables, sunflower seeds, and almonds is likely to offer the most benefit. Now, vitamin E is also available in over-the-counter pills or chewable tablets. I don't know. I just had rather take it in the leafy greens. And this is another thing I want you to think about with labels when you're buying something, even if it's a health food store. It seems as if the FDA doesn't give enough regulation, because something may say that it has vitamin E in it. But what I want you to do is start looking at the ingredients. Okay, the ingredients are going to be the true test, because let's say it says vitamin E, but you're seeing something else in there that's not vitamin E, and maybe vitamin E is down at the bottom. Okay, yeah, it has vitamin E in it, but whatever's listed, the first part of the ingredients is what has the most supplement. Okay, so if it says vitamin A or whatever, but you're specifically looking for vitamin E, if it shows a vitamin A first, that means it's more vitamin A than it is vitamin E. So do read the ingredients. And a lot of times, and I've noticed this, like if different brands, And sometimes the store brand is going to be the best one. And I've noticed on some of the national brands, it seems like they can get by with it more so than anybody else. But some of the big national brands will say includes vitamin E. Well, probably just a tiny drop of vitamin E in it. And it's probably fillers and other things. So again, it's extremely important that you read the ingredients on anything that you buy anyway. Okay, ginseng. Boy, that's been a hot one, hasn't it? We've heard a lot about that. It's used in traditional Chinese medicine. Now, the roots contain a compound called ginsenoside, and I'll spell that for you, Ginsenoside, which works as an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. This product has been shown in randomized trials to improve dementia, chronic obstruction pulmonary disease, and heart failure. But the review authors cautioned that most trials had basis unknown, and also most evidence is of low quality. Then why do it is my question. But anyway, it's worth noting that in the study, any improvements disappeared when the patient stopped taking the supplement. I've heard people say that. Well, if you ever quit taking it, it comes back. Well, don't you have to drink water every day? See what I mean? Well, then if it works, keep taking it. Okay, so Panax ginseng is generally safe, but it can cause some insomnia, rapid heartbeat, and high blood pressure in high doses when consumed with other medications, is what I'm saying. Coconut oil and medium chain triglycerides. Okay, medium chain triglycerides are a naturally occurring source of fats abundant in coconut oil. These fats are readily used by the brain as an energy source. Now, the studies show that supplementation may provide some relief for dementia patients, but these benefits are short-lived and disappear once you stop taking the supplementation. Although these supplements are generally considered safe, gastrointestinal side effects are common. Okay, now there's something else called the huperzine A, and it's derived from several species of the fir moss plant. Okay, it's believed it can increase the levels of neurotransmitters and promote brain functions. Most trials reported meaningful improvements in cognitive function, but these studies involved a small number of participants. In addition, because it works in a similar manner to some Alzheimer's drugs, it's unlikely to benefit patients who are already taking these drugs. Notably, the huperzine A showed beneficial results and effects for Alzheimer's patients, but not in patients with vascular dementia or MCI. Now, these huperzine A is available as a dietary supplement. It seems safe for short-term use, but evidence for long-term safety is lacking. All that means is the studies haven't been that long. Okay, so that's all that means. Okay, curcumin. And this is one of the most important components of turmeric and is used extensively in Asian medicine. Although it's often marketed in a way to protect the brain against dementia, the clinical evidence for curcumin is lacking. Although people who eat more in curries and other recipes seem to have improved cognitive function. A study using curcumin supplements failed to show any benefit. The main source is turmeric. I use turmeric in everything I cook with almost, but these supplements are commercially available. Now, coenzyme Q10, you see a lot of commercials with this ingredient in it as well. I'm just asking you to be really careful and, again, read the labels because you need to know exactly how much is in there. Because, again, if something says it has vitamin E in it, you might want to check, again, the ingredients label and see how much vitamin E is in it. If it's the first ingredient, I'm going to repeat this again because it's worthy of doing this, okay? So if you're checking the ingredients label and it shows vitamin E being the first thing, but it shows 50 other ingredients in there, probably not so good. But if you show something that says only vitamin E, I'd grab that product. And I promise you it's going to cost you a little bit more than the other products, but it's not watered down with something else. So really check that out, okay? Okay, coenzyme Q10 is also known as an antioxidant that your body can produce naturally. Now, The fact that levels of CoQ10 decrease with age make it a good candidate to help dementia patients. However, clinical is limited. Not only are blood levels of CoQ10 similar in people with or without cognitive problems, but a clinical trial with patients with Alzheimer's disease failed to show any cognitive benefits after 4 months of supplementation. So far, the only positive results have been in studies on rodents. CoQ10 can be found in certain foods like oily fish. For years, we would, let's get only tuna with it in water. I always wondered about that. You need the oil that comes with the fish, not the added oil to the fish. There's a difference there. Okay, whole grains and fruit. CoQ10 supplements are widely available over the counter. Again, be careful, read labels. Ginkgo biloba has been used in Chinese medicine for centuries. In clinical trials, ginkgo biloba showed mixed results. Some studies reported that in combination with conventional medicine, this can help cognitive performance, while others suggested it was inconsistent and unreliable. I question who were the people who thought it was unreliable. Okay, that said, research on a specific extract of ginkgo has shown promise in multiple studies. It resulted in improvement of behavioral and psychological symptoms caused by dementia, and also improved caregiver stress as well. If you're a caregiver, bless your heart. Prayers are out there for you. Ginkgo biloba is safe for most patients, but it's not advised for patients taking medication for high blood pressure. Sometimes you have to balance that out and see what's good. Okay, I want to tell you about resveratrol. It's an antioxidant found in red wine, grapes, berries, chocolate, and peanuts. If it's found in chocolate, I should be fine. Okay, it may help some patients with dementia, but further research is needed. Now, one study detected some improvement regarding the ability to complete daily tasks, but no effect on cognitive or executive function. Resveratrol supplements are safe for most patients in the short term, but long term has not been studied. No, is that saying don't try it? No, it just says long term has not been done. Zinc with vitamin C. Another helpful supplement could be zinc combined with vitamin C. Zinc is an important resource for neutral transmission, and vitamin C has a relationship with zinc. So vitamin C supports the activity and detoxification in the brain. One study showed that the pair improved attention and may help prevent worsening of dementia symptoms. The authors recommended a 10-30 megagram day of zinc with a 13500 day of vitamin C for dementia patients. Okay, another suggestion is exercise. I'm going to say that's probably the best of all of it. Okay, your natural herbs, take the pill if you have to, but be super careful, okay? Make sure you read the ingredients just to make sure that that's exactly what you need. But exercise is big. I mean, it's really, really huge, because what you're doing is you're getting that blood flowing to your brain. And I think because a lot of us have jobs where you're on the computer all day long, you're sitting in the same spot, you're doing all this all the time, you never get outside, and you're just not exercising the brain. Now, some of you say, well, I exercise, I'm talking true exercise, like with push-ups, with set-ups. A great exercise is standing on top of your head, if you can do that. If you can't stand on top of your head, another thing you can do is on the bed before you get out in the morning. Be really careful doing this, because you could pass out if you get up too quick. So just lay down on the bed and just pull your head back as far as you can, and you'll feel blood flowing back to your head. If you'll do that, that's going to help too. Now, don't get up too fast. What you'll need to do is gently roll up out of bed very slowly, because if you don't, you might pass out. Okay, I've known young people to do that. Okay, so be super careful when you do that. But think of exercise, all the exercises that you can use. Again, you're getting it's the best supplement you can take. That and rosemary. Grow rosemary. You can only grow one herb. Do that one and the comfrey plant. You got that going on too. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Television Talk Show. Continue sending emails. They really do make my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. I'll see you next time. Bye. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. on the Central Time Zones. I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can also find us syndicated on television, and that's Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on the newscasters.com. It's always so good to be with you. Continue sending emails, by the way. Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. Everybody's favorite sportscaster is on with us right now. His name is AP Stedham, and he is from LA, Lower Alabama. I've heard you say that on a few of your recordings, so I thought it was say, but it's so good to be with you today. Man, everybody's going crazy. The emails we're getting is just like football, yay, college football. And I think, and you said this correctly. I was getting a lot of little nasty emails from everybody, all upset about players being paid, just different things,
Yes.
And you said, oh, it's football. They'll be back, and they're back.
Be back. Yeah.
They're back.
People, they're ready for the football. It's August. You can feel it in the air, and everybody's so excited. And Donna, there's that element of hope. Everybody has hope for their team that it's going to be better. And for some, yes. For some, it'll be maybe the same, and some maybe not as good. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I've got to talk about this neck of the woods right here, South Carolina. And it's going strong right now. Like every store you go into has either Clemson or South Carolina in it. And there's a few, folks that are for other teams, but it's mainly those two teams right there. And people are fussing and they're jabbing. They're not necessarily fussing. They're jabbing at each other.
Oh, yeah, because South Carolina, they had a very good season on the cusp of the college football playoff, earning a berth, Donna, to be one of the 12 teams. And, of course, Clemson did make the playoff. And Clemson had, I think, extraordinary improvement by their quarterback, Klubnik. He's from Austin, Texas, ended up playing Texas in the playoffs in his hometown. And, Texas won the ball game. But I think that was one of the most impressive performances, his development as the quarterback of the Clemson Tigers. And Donna, bringing up South Carolina and Clemson, their first couple games, Clemson is going to be in Death Valley. They're hosting the other Death Valley team and the other Tiger, LSU, out of the SEC. So it's ACC versus the SEC, and we love those matchups between the conferences, the P4 conferences. And then we have Virginia Tech also from the ACC facing the South Carolina Gamecocks in Atlanta. And Donna, right now I'm supposed to be at that game, South Carolina's first game in Atlanta, Georgia. That's on a Sunday afternoon. But those are two opening week ball games. And Donna, this opening week is going to be sensational. The number of great ball games. Texas is traveling to Columbus, Ohio, and that was the Cotton Bowl game last year in the playoffs. So Texas plays Ohio State and they haven't played very much through the history. So that's exciting. Arch Manning with Texas, and then possibly Julian Sayin, the transfer from Alabama, quarterback, Ohio State. You have Florida State is hosting Alabama in Tallahassee. So you have two coaches. It's getting a little hot for both of them. Mike Norvell of Florida State had a total collapse last year with their football team. Of course, Alabama ended up 9-4, and they're trying to get to the college football playoffs and earn a berth to be one of the 12 teams. So that's another openings weekend game. Like I said, LSU and Clemson, that's one of the better games. Then down you have the orange everywhere. It'll be Tennessee and Syracuse in Atlanta. So it'll be orange all over that city.
It'll feel like October. It'll feel like Oktoberfest.
It will, right? It sure will. Yeah. So that's big ball game there. So it's nice to have these games between the power conferences, because those are pendulum games, I call them, Donna. If you can win those games, it helps down the road with possibly your seeding or even earning a berth in the college football playoffs. Now, here's something interesting, Donna. You can lose that game. And people said, oh, it's okay, you can lose that game. Yes, but that won't help you in your seeding. If you do enter the college football playoffs, you won't have that game to rely on for your strength of schedule that you won. So it's great to play in the ball games. It's even nicer to win, because it'll help you down the road with your college football playoff berth and your seeding as well. And it helps your conference too, with the strength of schedule, that you beat a team from the SEC or the ACC or the Big 12 or the Big 10. So
so we had a lot of emails and texts from people in this neck of the woods.
Yes.
And here's the chatter, but now you know about chatter. Chatter can be totally false. It could be, it's nowhere near the truth kind of thing. But the chatter is the teams up here could possibly be going into the SEC. Have you heard that chatter?
Yes. You see, and I always thought that the team that the SEC would try to take, that they would want, is kind of keeping it quiet, with North Carolina. But Clemson is among that as well. Clemson, North Carolina, they could be moving to the SEC. In these next 5 years, Donna, maybe everything shakes out with all these conferences, and there's a final move, the final chess move in the next 5 years. We've seen some of the developments over time. Texas and Oklahoma came on board last year from the Big 12. But maybe that final move with all these Power 4 conferences, maybe it's within the next 5 years, and we finally settle in to having, 18, 20 teams. The Big 10 is already 18 now. The SEC is already 16 now. So maybe we move into that 20 or 20 plus range, with trying to take Clemson, North Carolina. I don't know if they take Florida State. I don't know who else they want exactly, but I think that final move is coming in the next 5 years, I would say.
Is that not too much? I mean, it just feels crowded.
Yeah, I don't understand all that, because why not keep the conferences? Because how do you come up with a true champion, Donna? If you have 20 teams in the conference, you can only play 8, 9, 10 games a year. So that means you didn't play another 8 or 9 teams in your conference. How could you be a true champion of that conference?
True. And then I think about this too, because sometimes it's not necessarily within your conference where the battle is. It can be outside of the conference. That makes it more fun.
Yeah. So I really liked having the Pac-12 on the West Coast, and you had the Southwest Conference of the Big 12, let's say the SEC, the ACC, the Big 10. I liked having those regional conferences, and you have those games between those conferences during the season, and then you have the playoffs and the bowl games. But for whatever reason, Donna, and when you're always searching for the answer, like I said, money. That's the answer. That's the answer to the question. Why?
On everything.
Why are all these teams trying to get together? I mean, you have California and Stanford in the ACC, one coast to the other. You have Rutgers and UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington in the Big 10, Maryland, coast to coast. I think it loses its regional luster. That flavor that you had of one coast that's going to play the other coast. Now they're in the same conference, so there's not that excitement to me.
it takes that little zing out of it. But
Yes.
your thoughts about when Texas came in?
Yeah,
Like,
Texas and Oklahoma, to some degree, you could say, well, they were adjacent to the SEC. And Texas
mhm,
A&M is in the SEC. Missouri is right there with Arkansas, and Missouri, Oklahoma, all next to each other. But you have a team like Nebraska, who was in the Big 12. They're up in the Big 10 now. They've been in that Big 10 for a little while. So, but there's nothing you or I can do to change the landscape. It's going to be, if the money's right, the move will be made.
mhm. And it does change the landscape quite a bit.
Yes, yes. I mean, you're Maryland, let's say, for instance, and you've got to play, or you're UCLA, and you've got to play a noon Eastern time game against Maryland. So your fans are awoke. They're at 9 o'clock. They have to wake up at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning to turn the TV on, which they do. They do most of the time anyway. But it was to watch the games on the, east of the Mississippi at that time. Let's say it wasn't to watch your team UCLA play at 9 in the morning. But now you have to do those types of things because you're in the Big Ten conference and vice versa. So this is the way the people in power. This is what they want. And there's nobody who's going to tell them otherwise. There's nobody who's going to interfere with their decisions.
If that's part of the game plan, that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, there's nothing anyone could do about it. The fans are not. They're not the tiniest variable in the equation, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but going from one time zone to the next, I'm just talking where I'm at right now. How many times have I messed up our show timing? Because I'm Eastern time now, and you're Central time, and I don't know how
Right.
many times I messed that up. And I seem to be picking on you, but I'm just saying, for a player, what does that do about their rest time?
Yeah, I mean, you have to make some adjustments. I think I spoke to Lincoln Riley of USC and asked him a question about the travel, and he said, "There's a few things that we have to change in our preparation.
Uh-huh.
When you're playing a game either on the East Coast or the Midwest, it's still minimum 2 hours. It's 3 hours if it's on the East Coast. So that's a big change for your players because, like I say, if it's a noontime Eastern game, that means it's like playing at 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast for those players. And with football, you have away games. It's usually 4 or 5, Donna. So maybe once or twice you have that 3 hour difference. Definitely have the 2 hour difference if you're playing in the Midwest. So you've got to make that mental adjustment and provide those for your players to understand and get adapted and figure out the best way to be prepared to play in that game when it's different time zones. It's not just one now; it's 2 or 3 time zones.
I'm sure there has to be mental exercises in order to do that. I was working for a company one time, and so I was on a business trip in Las Vegas, and that's
Right.
quite a difference in time. Then I had to be in New York
Oh,
next week, and that I'm just
reverse. Yeah.
that was a time warp. I mean, it was. I
Yeah.
remember the first
Reverse. Right.
job,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I don't know for a fact, Donna, but I'm thinking if I have a game on the East Coast, and I'm not sure you can work this out with their schedules, can my team practice at 8 or 9 in the morning on the West Coast? I
Uh-huh.
don't know. I mean, I would think your players, they try to come up with a schedule so they could practice at a particular time during the season. And I would say, I don't know if players are open from 9 to 11 on the West Coast. They
Well,
might have classes. Yeah.
I will say this: it's easier to adjust from Eastern time to Pacific time than it is Pacific to Eastern time. I mean, it's
Probably
easy
so.
for me. It was easier, but when I knew
Probably
the other
so.
way
Yeah.
around, I was a zombie the rest of the day.
Yeah, probably so. I would say if I was the commissioner of the conference, I would suggest when we're bringing a team from the West Coast to the East, let's see if we can make sure the game, let's say, is minimum 3:30 Eastern, which would be 12:30 on the West Coast. And that's a lot of times they'll play their game on the West Coast at 12:30 because that's been the history being on television, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 on the West Coast. So I'm thinking, let's see if we can we can make that, have that courtesy for the teams from the West Coast making their trip to the East Coast. Now, the teams making the trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, if they're playing a 7:00 Eastern game, Donna, that's fine, because the West Coast team, it'll be 4:00 out there, 7:00 on the East Coast, no issue. But there is a special circumstances, I think, for the West Coast teams. I think the East Coast teams, they're used to playing, let's say, at a night game, 7 or 8 o'clock, which would be 4 or 5 on the West Coast. So that's no problem. Now, if you have a game that's scheduled on the, and I don't think they do this, probably not, because they don't announce all the times, Donna. We just know a few of the early games. But I don't think there's a 12:30 West Coast game, because when I say 12:30, I'm meaning Eastern time. That would be 9:30 in the morning. People at the stadium, 9:30 in the morning. I don't think that the Big Ten Conference has. I don't think they play those games at that specific time. So they understand.
See, that it could be by design. So the other team out by having it at 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah. I would say the earliest time that they want a West Coast team to play in that time zone would be probably noon or 12:30, something like that. I'm thinking, which would be 3:00 on the East Coast time, or 2:00 in the Midwest, the Central time. Yeah.
Fair.
So,
let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay? We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Education Talk Show, and I have AP Studham with me right now. AP, as we see it. AP, what's going on with your show this week and last week?
Yeah, last week we had the voice of the Auburn Tigers, Andy Burcham, and Andy's very good. Have a lot of insight in those two segments that we had Andy for the show last week, and of course Auburn, Donna, they're looking to have improvement with their win-loss record, of course, and they brought in Jackson Arnold, the transfer from Oklahoma. They brought in Deuce Knight, a hotshot freshman from Mississippi, and then a transfer quarterback from Stanford as well. So they have plenty of options at the quarterback position, and I think you're going to see them utilize those players during the year, during the course of the year over a 12-game schedule. And they brought in some transfers on the offensive line, and the strength of the team down is probably going to be at the wide receiver position for Auburn, I would say. All defense should be pretty good, yeah.
The Cinderella team this coming season.
Who's the Cinderella team, Donna?
Would it be Auburn?
I think Auburn would be one of the Cinderella teams if you're looking at it from that perspective. I'm thinking that Florida has the toughest schedule again. And can they duplicate last year's record, Donna, where they upset Ole Miss and I think they beat LSU? And so, yeah, Florida would be a Cinderella team. The teams in contention, the usual suspects: Alabama, Georgia, LSU. South Carolina's trying to get into that 12-game playoff. Can Tennessee repeat to get in the 12-game playoff? They have a new quarterback, Joey Aguilar. They transferred from Appalachian State. It was at UCLA for 5 minutes, and then, they swapped quarterbacks, UCLA and Tennessee. Texas A&M was on the cusp, Donna. They were right in contention. They hosted Texas at the end of the year. They probably would have made the playoffs, but they lost that game. They had a good season with the new coach, Mike Elko. Missouri, can they be a team that they have a transfer quarterback from Penn State? So, but Auburn would be a Cinderella type team along with Florida to make the playoffs, I think, Donna, because they haven't won in, I think the last 3 years they've had, I don't think they've won the last 3 years, right, Auburn? So, they would be a big Cinderella, Auburn. I'm not including Kentucky. They had one win in the conference last year, so I'm not presenting them as any hopeful Cinderella team. They're just trying to get back to winning ball games in the Southeastern Conference.
Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is that little Chihuahua dog, the little fighter.
Donna, you brought up Vanderbilt. That's a good choice. Can they get a little bit better with Diego Pavia, the magical quarterback? They would be definitely a Cinderella plus. I would call them Cinderella plus. Yeah,
shocked last year.
Yeah, they had a terrific season from, like I say, not winning a game the year before in the conference to beating the number one team, Alabama.
Yeah, and
taking Texas to a 27-24 game and Missouri to double overtime, and then winning that bowl game against Georgia Tech, who gave Georgia all kind of fits with many overtimes. Georgia finally beat them. So yeah, Vanderbilt, Florida. I'd say those would be two Cinderella teams from the SEC if they make the championship game, make the playoffs. Yeah, for sure, no question.
If I were a betting person, it would be Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they
figured it out, and they came from. I'm talking about impossible odds.
Oh, they did. Yeah, it's. No wins to beating the number one team. I don't know if you can go much further. Can you, Donna? Then to 0 wins the year before to beating the number 1 team that was in your conference at the time, Alabama. So yeah, that's huge for them. But
fastest pace on record. I mean, because I'm just telling you, everybody laughed at them the previous year. I mean, it was a joke.
Yeah.
They're not
Yes.
laughing now.
No. And there's some other games that we just want to mention that, for instance, Arkansas hosting Notre Dame for the first time.
Wow.
That ticket is going to be high priced. Maybe that's the highest priced ticket ever in Arkansas history. And that's saying something, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Highest priced ticket to have Notre Dame visit Fayetteville, Arkansas in the history of their program, 100 plus years. So that's big. You know, Miami, Florida has to play in Miami, big ball game within the state rivals. Yeah, Florida has the most difficult schedule. I mean, they play Texas and Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU. That's a really difficult schedule, Donna. To have Florida contend with those teams, but their quarterback DJ Lagway, he had his moments last year. He's got to be consistently good at a minimum for them to have a chance and all to be challenge those teams. But people are so excited about college football, and this year in particular, Donna, like I said, that first weekend in college football with the SEC and the other conferences, they're playing Ohio State and they're playing Clemson, they're playing Syracuse, you know, they're playing Virginia Tech, they're playing Florida State. I mean, those are some really good teams outside the SEC that makes it challenging, and you have a chance to really show your pride. The SEC does that very first weekend and beyond with all these games scheduled.
Well, Cammie has a question for you, and her son is a kicker at a high school in Texas, and he's really looking at kickers. He wants to know who you're looking at right now, who's very promising. Yeah,
well, you know, Alex McPherson comes back to Auburn. You know, he was out with an illness, Donna, and he was very good the year before. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for him to recover and provide a good kicking game for the Auburn Tigers. So I'm watching him because we know that he's very efficient and successful as a kicker, but he had the illness. He had to sit out most of the year. So I'll be looking at him.
Yeah, that could be the Cinderella, the kicker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We always like the kickers, Donna, because they could determine the outcome. You have all these close ball games, these high flying offenses and defenses that give people fits, but comes down to the person kicking the ball.
It does every time. Okay, AP, before we go, what's happening with AP as we see it this coming week?
Yeah, Donna, we haven't got our guests this week, but we're going to be talking college football, primarily the SEC. And like I said, we'll go over some things that are happening within the league and some of these early matchups and projections and predictions. And Donna, I think, you know, people thinking about Georgia and Texas maybe, but I think it's just wide open, that SEC.
I would never bet on a ball game. There is just I don't bet anyway, but I just
right. Yeah. Yeah, it's wide open. A lot of pressure on Texas.
If you had to pick the top three,
Yes. Yeah, Texas, probably Georgia. I'd say Alabama. And then right below them, Donnie, you have LSU, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, maybe just below that, and everybody else scrambling. Missouri, Texas, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State is trying to recover. And we didn't even mention Ole Miss. Ole Miss is in there too, of course. Yeah. Ole Miss is in there trying to contend to get in those playoffs. They were a game short.
One thing you could bet on is that you just don't know, not until it happens.
No, Arkansas. Yeah, every single team, if their quarterback plays above and beyond their capabilities, then you can have that extreme hope that they would make the college football playoffs. Yeah.
Well, we got to go. Thank you, AP, for coming with it, even though I messed up the time on the time zone.
That's okay. Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
And thank you guys so much for watching. You're the reason we do this. Continue sending emails, Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. We'll be talking to you a little bit later. Take care.